To live in the now, you must celebrate in the now. Let me say that again. To live in the now is to celebrate in the now. But there's a secondary question to that. How can you better celebrate in the now when there are things that you have from your past that have broken your heart or left you in a very bad, perhaps dark place? One thing is for certain, we can't forget the past. So therefore, how can we take the pains from the past and somehow or the other find the ones to celebrate and live our lives more fully? Hello, everybody. I'm John Morrow, and welcome to I Never Noticed 2.0, a podcast on Spotify, a podcast that is heard on many other places as well, but a podcast that most importantly is about my message to a very, very special group of people out there who have gone through difficult times, are in perhaps a dark place, or maybe they've gone through grief, or maybe they've come to a place in their life where they're stuck. And by being stuck, they don't know what direction to go in. They're looking for a way to live forward, move forward, do something that is going to take them in the right direction to a more fulfilling and happy life. I'm so glad you joined me. This is episode number 3. I'm going to tell you about experiences that I've recently had, and they have awakened me in a sense, or reawakened some things in me that I need to remind myself of from time to time. I'm using myself as an example, but perhaps maybe you can relate. Let me begin by telling you that I'm here in the month of August, near the end of the month of August, recording this episode last week. Oh, and by the way, August is an interesting month in my life. It wasn't that way at the time that I was born, and as I grew up, August became an important part of my life, an essential, critical, major important of my life, purely through the process of how things happen in the plan of providence. And I do believe in divine providence. But now that it's there, it's become essential that I find a way each year as I see the light of day, and granted that light by the grace of God, to talk about the month of August in terms of what it means to me and share that with you, because your month may be an entirely different month of the year. Getting back to the thing, last week, not this week as I'm recording this, was an essentially very, very important week. There were 4 specific milestones that were involved in that. Let me talk about the first milestone. This one here is just all about fun, all about just joy, 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 joy. August 15th of this year, 2023, was the first birthday of my second incredible, amazing granddaughter, Elizabeth Marie Morrow. She has a pet name, Issa. Issa, unlike her first sister, Donna Melrose Morrow, better known as Donna Mel, and who, by the way, Donna Mel was named for her grandmothers, Donna being my late wife, Donna, and Mel, short, or Melrose, is the name of her grandmother, who lives in the Philippines, my daughter-in-law's mother. The 15th of August is special because Issa was born on the 15th. And we had a big old time birthday party for her that Tuesday. We just celebrated and celebrated and celebrated. It was a great time. And I also ate some food I shouldn't have eaten. And that's okay, because as you may know, I'm type 2 diabetic, but I'm not insulin dependent. So I'm judicious about my content, my eating habits, my diet. But we are allowed, if we've done a good job, and I'm doing a fairly good job based upon my A1C and my glucose levels and their consistency, that I could enjoy birthday cake. But I also want to point out that none of the food they had there would be the kind of food that a person that is diabetic would want to eat, because these are those things that are high in glycemic index, and they just really pound the daylights out of you. But I wasn't going to pass up on cake, not a big old beautiful gorgeous birthday cake, and not in celebrating my absolutely amazing granddaughter number 2. But the 15th of August is also in reflection, a very important day in my life because it was a milestone. It was August 15th of 2018 that I, having prostate surgery and having a prostate removed that was cancerous. Fortunately for me, we found it early. The subsequent radiation treatments that I went through in the months following have since, based upon that time frame, which was 5 years ago, have still come back totally negative. And what I'm saying is that no detectable PSA has been able to be found in the tests that I continue to have on a regular basis with my urinary oncologist who is caring for me. But it was still a tough time. And I still bear the scars and the effects of that to this day. But they aren't anything that I would dwell upon. The thing that I wanted to enjoy was the granddaughter. That's really all that mattered, because there's the blessings that come in life and made the month of August very, very special for me in many, many ways. And I'm thankful for it. But also, too, in the month of August is the birthday of my son, Donald. I only had the one child. My wife and I had our son, Donald. And Donald, on August the 18th, celebrated his 43rd birthday. He's the father of not just Isa, whose birthday was the 15th, but he's the father of Donna Mel, obviously, who will celebrate her 4th birthday this forthcoming January 27. But I'm not talking about the celebrations. I want to focus in on the other significance of August the 18th as it relates to me. As I said, my son was born on August the 18th on our 7th wedding anniversary. Pause for a moment and think about that. This past August 18th was his 43rd birthday. And if my wife Donna was here with me, we would have been celebrating and probably doing it in a big, big way, our 50th wedding anniversary, because we were married on August the 18th, 1973. But Donna has been gone now for over 4 years. She did not get to see the birth of her first granddaughter, Donna Mel. We did not get to celebrate those additional anniversaries. We were 2.5 months shy of celebrating anniversary number 46, as you know, when she passed away suddenly right there before my very eyes. As I reflect upon those things, I want to point out something. There is a bittersweet component to that process. And for those of us who live in the grief community because someone very precious to us or someone's very precious to us have gone to their eternal reward and their eternal place, we have to sometimes cope with feelings that are going to emerge. You can't go into your brain and erase things. Now, they may come up with some type of a medical process that would allow you to be able to erase certain memories, but the truth be known, magnificence and amazingness of the human brain is its capacity to store, save, and depending upon the right stimuli, recall so many incredible events. But I want to go back to this principal thing that I said at the beginning when I made the phrase, you want to, and I'm gonna just read this to you. Listen very carefully. Living in the now means celebrating in the now. Are you living in the now? Yes. But am I celebrating? Yes, and I have to be intentional about it. Donna, my late wife Donna, is the most incredibly wonderful and beautiful woman. To me, she was spectacular. Every time I looked at her, she literally took my breath away. As time grew on, this infatuation that had turned into love grew into something so powerful in its love that even the physical aspect of our relationship, and that's a very natural part of a love life between a man and a woman, that was not the thing that was binding us together. What was binding us together was the fact that we were perfectly suited for one another. Does that mean that that entire almost 46 years that we had together before she passed away was a great, great time all the time? No, no, no. It was not a great, great thing all the time. There were rough times. There were even some times when we didn't like each other. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I came out of college in 1973 and I married this beautiful woman in August of 1973, and we settled down for that almost 46 years of incredible life that we had together, there were times when she didn't like me. And there were times when I didn't like her. I think probably more so she didn't like me than I didn't like her because, frankly, I was a jerk. I don't mean to say that I'm a jerk in the wrong sense. Sometimes we're so selfish in our relationships with people, we forget just how valuable it is to embrace those things which mean the most to us. And people are the most important thing to us. But most of all, that soulmate is the one person that you can trust and count on and believe in and be there for, and they can be there and know that they will be there for you all the time. And if you are connected and you're communicating and you're sharing and you're doing things and you're even doing things with that spouse that you used to didn't like, you're trying these things. I'll give you one example. I hated to go shopping when I was being with someone else because I usually had to wait and watch while they did their thing. I didn't like that. It was boring. And I'd always want to wander off and do my own thing, just walk around. I'm one of these types of guys that for the longest time, when I came to a store, I had my mind on one or two things, and that was what I wanted to take care of. But if I was shopping with Donna, Donna wanted to go. She wanted to browse, look through the racks, grab a few things, go to the fitting room, try them out, see what you think, come out, and then get rid of some, try some more. Eventually, she might settle down to buying one or two items. And there were occasions when she didn't buy a single item. I mean, what? What's the purpose of going shopping if you're not going to buy something? But, things change. I hated that. And then one day it emerged or dawned or became apparent to me that what I should be doing was celebrating her while she was doing her shopping thing. Not walking off, wandering off, looking at other things, but staying right there with her by her side as she went by each and every single table and then took and picked up and went and tried on. And she would come out and I'd be able to look at her and she would say to me as she walked out, well, what do you think? Well, first of all, anything she wears, as far as I'm concerned, she will look spectacular. But it was also important for me to give her honest feedback. So in my honest feedback, I learned to tell her, I think that makes you look good, or I think that could be better, or I think that's a little too loose. I think that's a bit too tight. I just don't like the color, the way it looks on you. And I became the kind of individual that she desired to hear from, because how I appeared to her and things that she saw as possibly being something she could embrace and wear and enjoy was important, because it was a team effort. And she'd do the same thing with me, although for men, let's be honest, guys, shopping for us is usually a fairly easy thing. I mean, what is it other than we look at a pair of pants, make sure they're the right size and everything. We see if it's a color that we need or want. And if we're picking out a particular type of shirt, whether it be a button up, whether it be casual or dress, and obviously golf shirts and even t-shirts and things of that sort, even a hat. The thing is that we pretty much have an idea of what we want. But it's always nice if your spouse is with you. And Donna did the same thing for me. And she would say, that's not really your color. That's not really a color of pants combined with a shirt that you should wear. And we would learn to give and take and have feedback with each other. And in the relationship, we shared in the process. The biggest learning curve that we ever went through, and you're going to be amazed when I tell you this, I was never one of those guys that cared for what we call Black Friday. Now, Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. Now, think about this for just a second. Black Fridays are not nearly, although they're still incredibly popular, Black Fridays are not nearly as huge as they used to be because of the emergence of technology, because we have Cyber Mondays, we have the ability to buy what we want online. There are so many sites where you can purchase and have delivered things or go pick them up at a receiving depot. The whole process of how we shop has been radically transformed because of technology, and I take advantage of that in these days that I live. But in the years that I was married to Donna, particularly those earlier years, those years where I got past being a jerk and started enjoying and celebrating every minute I could spend with my spectacular wife, when Black Friday would come, we would lay a plan. Now, here's the deal. Donna was the smart shopper. I was the guy who spotted the unique and the nuanced, and also I was her assistant. She was the principal driving force in the shopping process. She knew specifically what she wanted, but at the same time, she knew how to respond and react to something that truly looked like an amazingly great value. And remember, when you're Black Friday shopping, you're not just shopping for yourself. In fact, the principal purpose of Black Friday shopping is to shop for other people we care about. And that was where my wife, Donna, excelled the most, because she was so thoughtful and mindful of other people, particularly family and friends. She was the person that always kept our calendar straight because she remembered all the important occasions, such as birthdays and anniversaries. She kept track of those things and reminded me, don't forget, there's an event coming up and we need to be sure to be there and to be a part of helping to celebrate in that life of that individual or individuals that we were celebrating. So Donna was, in a sense, my calendar. She was just good at that. And she was good at following up and calling people and keeping in touch with them. So when you go on Black Friday shopping, Donna already has in her mind the personality, the nature, the favorites, the aesthetics, the not so favorites of the people. She usually seeks out, researches, and finds through question and answer what sizes to look for or what's needed for that individual, particularly as Christmas gifts goes. Donna was very good at finding out what really was needed, because it's not always about clothes. It could be an appliance. It could be a housewares item. It could be a hardware item. It could be any one of a number of things. And of course, for children, don't forget toys, but thoughtfully thought out toys. She always was in the now. As a matter of fact, she was living more fully in the now than I was, because I was always 2 steps ahead. And that's not a good way to live, because you're missing opportunities. That's how I Never Noticed came to be, because I was so much looking ahead at the next destination or the next thing that I thought was going to happen that I was missing the most important moment at the time. And that was to live in that moment and celebrate it. Donna helped me learn that by being her partner, her best friend, her soulmate, and her second set of eyes, ears, and sensations, so that we could tackle Black Friday and come away with what we specifically wanted, that we had determined was the most important thing. And when we would go into any of those stores, and yes, we got up early before the break of dawn. And I can even remember some Black Friday mornings where we stood outside of a department store that was going to open at 4 a.m. And we would wait in line for that store to open. And we didn't stand there, even if it was chilly that morning. And remember, I'm in Florida, so a Black Friday in the month of November, the day after Thanksgiving, is not nearly as cold as one, let's say, in my hometown of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And of course, up north, I don't want to go there. But the thing I point out to you is that we didn't just stand there with each other and enjoy each other, but we kind of sought out how we could connect with the people around us. This was another one of Donna's amazing abilities. She was quiet, reserved, and would appear to be shy, but in fact, she was very engaging. She liked to watch, observe, and take in and understand and get a sense of things before she engaged. Sound familiar? And in the Black Friday experience, it became for us almost as if it was a date. We always found the free donuts. and coffee. We always took time to sit and enjoy that fellowship together in spite of the chaos going around us. There were certain things that I was assigned to get and to get quickly. There was an orderly pattern of point A to point B to point C. And at the end of the shopping experience, and it always usually ended well before high noon, we pretty much had accomplished what we wanted. Did we get everything? Of course not. When things are on sale, their supplies are limited. So it's a case of you got to be there early to get the best deals. But the lesson from it was this: time with her was everything. And after we retired, we had a lot of time together, but we also were trying to figure out a way to how to make our lives better. And we went through a period of time there where we tried this and this and this and this, and all we did was throw money at nothing. Once we began to understand how to better enjoy finding something simple and easy and effective for helping us to supplement our fixed income, the thing that kept me busy most of the time outside of being with her was being involved in the music program of my church. And I was a vocalist. And to this day, I remain a vocalist in my church's music program. At the age of 73, I'm a second tenor, and I still sing on praise and worship. And I enjoy it because I just love music. And I love all kinds of music, and worship music in particular is one of my favorite styles or genres of music. But in addition to that, we had Toastmasters. Now, Donna was not a Toastmaster, but if it was a conference, a convention, a special event, she would go with me. That's the reason why people knew who she was. She was a part of my life, and they knew that she was connected to me and I was connected to her. So anything about me would always have her in mind. People loved her. Everyone that I knew in Toastmasters among that massively wonderful family knew exactly who she was. They called her by name. They knew her and they enjoyed her. And she knew most of them by name too. And then, that being the other part of my life, I was busy. She, on the other hand, she enjoyed the relaxation of watching soap operas. She had two particulars that she always watched faithfully. As a matter of fact, I know that one of them she watched for as long as I know that she's been alive and able to watch television, back to the days before I met her when she was in what was called junior high school back then, and high school. But the thing is, our greatest companion family is our kitty cats. We always had cats since the day we married. And those cats particularly liked her because she had a great lap. And there were particular cats that craved that lap and always jostled for position so that they could be in that lap, and then others would join her. And since we enjoyed recliners were the state of the atmosphere there in that living room. And that's where she did a lot of her living, as well as making food and preparation and house cleaning and all the stuff that was going on. And when I was gone, she kept herself busy, or she just relaxed and reclined. But the most valuable time that we had together was when we were just simply laughing, talking, out people watching. Yes, we enjoyed watching people. And the amazing thing about the relationship, and I tell you, it's uncanny, but if you are truly dialed in to your soulmate and your life partner, your minds are going to find a way to connect so well that you don't even have to say a single word to one another, and you'll know pretty much what we're thinking towards each other in all things. And it's fun, because if you're watching or observing something, you look at each other and you think, oh yeah, I get it. I get it. The magic of relationship is this: if you don't make the most of it now, if you don't celebrate it now, if you don't give it your all in all now, if you don't allocate and allot time so that it's the most important priority in your daily physical life, you're going to look back if that moment happens where they're no longer with you, and you're going to wish you had been there more often. I'm not trying to put a downer on you, but let me repeat something that I told you in a previous episode. On the morning of June the 2nd, 2019, I had been making my preparations to go to church. My wife had been feeling ill that week, but while I was up having coffee, she came out from the bedroom and was feeling what she thought was good. She said, "I think I'm just about over it." A communications process started taking place. And because I'm a believer, I believe that there was a communications process taking place with God. Because at that precise moment, as I started to get up and make preparations to go get ready to go to church, it was like a voice spoke and tapped me at the same time on the shoulder and said, "Stick around." I didn't ask why. I surrendered to it immediately. I turned to her and said, "I'm going to stay with you." The smile on her face, I will never forget. The words that came out of her mouth were, "You are?" And I said, "Yes." And then I was prompted to do one more thing, and that was to say to her, "I want to stay home with you." And this is basically in paraphrase. And I want to celebrate with you. I want to be with you. I want to enjoy the fact that you're feeling better. I want to plan and dream, and let's talk about the days forthcoming. That was the only thing on my mind, was being with my wife. And I wanted her to know being with her meant more to me than anything else. I'm so thankful I said those words. I didn't want to come down to the end of the life of someone that I loved and have regret. I went through that with my father. I'm thankful for the fact that the voice I heard, which I believe is the voice of God, you can call it whatever voice you want to. I'm thankful that the voice I heard told me, celebrate now, live now, be mindful now, connect now. Yes, I miss my forever friend. Yes, I'm convinced I will see her again. And yes, for now, I am alone. And I have a bevy of friends everywhere. Wonderful, incredible, loving friends across many venues, areas, all kinds of situations. But celebrating life is also about celebrating the best of what others gave to you who are no longer with you. And so for me, almost 46 years of marriage, and as far as I'm concerned, before we were married, we were already desperately in love and as close as we could be. So it's really more than 46 years of a relationship, which represented 2/3 of my life at that particular point, was something to celebrate because it was the thing that shaped me into the person that I am today. And it is probably the singular most driving force in my life to be the most effective force for your life. And I want to point out something too, as I bring this podcast to a close. Your life is important to me because my why is your why. You've been hurt. You've been damaged. You've been stuck. You're at a point where you don't know how to pull free from whatever it is that's got you stuck. You're at a donut hole, and you need something to begin to help you to release from what's holding you, shift, and move into a more vibrant and meaningful life. You must begin today to find a way intentionally to not just live in the now, but celebrate in the now. So deliberately choose to celebrate those things in your life that are meaningful today and give that extra time for them, because it will be the greatest rush you'll ever experience. But also look back upon those things that perhaps maybe you've lost. And don't think about what you failed to do. Think about what you got to do and how you got to experience the best that that person had to offer you, and celebrate. I say it again, and I wrote it down. Living in the now means celebrating in the now. It doesn't have to be a special occasion. My challenge to you today is to go out there and find things to celebrate. And don't look for big deals. Celebrate even the smallest of things. I could give you a list of ideas, but you can write me about that. And when that day comes where there are those certain events that leave you in a sad, dark place, don't think about the fact that that is gone, or maybe that you missed opportunities. Think of everything about that relationship, that person, that thing that made your life full of joy. And think about how to celebrate that. Bring the best that you have to every situation and be that to other people. Because if you're living in the now and celebrating in the now, other people will see that. And not everybody will follow your lead, but you'll be surprised at the fellow allies that will join you, the partners that will join you, the friends that will join you, the members of your personal tribe of influence in a world that needs more smiles, desperately needs more smiles than ever before. That's my story for today in this episode number 3. Remember what I said again: to live in the now means to celebrate in the now. Living in the now means celebrating in the now. I'm John Morrow. I hope you've enjoyed today's I Never Noticed 2.0 podcast, and I hope that you will join me for our next one. I do these on Fridays, and they are released every other week. And I, of course, have a website. It is www.inevernoticed.com. You can email me at john@inevernoticed.com. In addition to that, I have a Facebook page, both for myself as John Morrow, DTM, and I Never Noticed is a Facebook page. I have a YouTube channel. By the way, this video that's being recorded is on YouTube, but I'm also broadcasting the audio on Spotify. And I'm learning in this business about how to use my podcast to grow it, but you can help me grow it by being sure that you like or subscribe, that you comment, and that you share. Do all these things and help me. If I've helped you, great. If I've helped you, share. If I've helped you, comment. If I can do a better job, write me. Keep in touch. I appreciate you. It's been a joy. Remember, as I conclude this episode, I can't say it enough. I wrote it down right here in my own personal journal. Living in the now means celebrating in the now. Until next time, this is John Morrow saying, be blessed, be happy, find a way to make the best of every single day, spend less time thinking about what might happen, spend more time connected with what is happening. That way, you won't find yourself suddenly shaking your head and saying, I wished I had noticed. So long for now. Bye-bye.